Jimmy Thackeray has a band called The Drivers. He's on Blind Pig Records. I play that. He's got a CD out called Empty Arms Motel. It's pretty decent. He does Jimi Hendrix Red House.
Oh, yeah. Man, he knows every blues song that was ever done. Don't ever play trivia with him, man.
Oh, we got to get him in the Bluesroom. We got to. You got the Bluesroom on 105.9 WCXR. Our guest tonight, Gregg Allman. How's Dickie doing?
Oh, he's all right, man. He's okay. It's he wasn't able to make it tonight. He's people have their problems, and we're totally in support of him, and I do wish him well, and we'll see him again.
That's all that matters. You'll play DJ tonight. You'll pick a few tunes. Anything. Can you pick anything off of here that you would like? This has got some pretty good rare stuff.
My arms aren't long enough here. Let me see. Baddest singer I've ever heard, man. Little Milton Campbell. Who's Cheating Who? And Etta James, Baby What You Want Me to Do. All these are good, man. Let me see. You got something by Albert Collins on here? I really can't read this. It's small, man. I'm not getting old. It's just my arms are quite long.
Your last studio album that you did is right over there. You guys did Come On Into My Kitchen, the Robert Johnson thing, and I was telling Warren, you really opened up all this acoustic music. Now everybody's unplugged. Clapton, Rod Stewart, and you guys basically started it when you put that album together. Are you aware of that?
Well, the album came after that. We did unplug. We were one of the first that did it. Clapton did a whole thing. I think he did like a whole record's worth of stuff. But that was, I remember that came down on the spur of the moment. We were on tour, and we were in Atlanta, and they said, they want you to come play on MTV, and they want you to, no electricity. And we were saying, what? So we rehearsed it there in the hotel room, And I said, well, there'll be an audience there. And I'm going, wow, New York audience in a little room. I thought, man, this is a bad idea. And I don't know if you saw it or not, but it came out real good. Real good.
Well, let's fire that up and come back and talk some more.
All right. John Lee Hooker. We're neighbors now. I live up in Northern California. He lives in Redwood City, and I live in Novato. And I lived in the Bay Area now for about 2.5 years. But John Lee Hooker, 1 bourbon, 1 scotch, 1 beer. Great dude, man, John Lee. It's really a pleasure and an honor to have known a lot of these old cats, And, wow, the first part of the tour we had Albert Collins on tour with us, and he got up and jammed. That was I was just like shaking. I mean, it was like one of the professors was playing with us. And he was saying, how gratified he was, and thank you for letting me on your tour. And I'm saying, hey, thank me, man, thank you. And he's great. He is great.
The Bluesroom is brought to you by Michelob Light on the Classic Rock Station, 105.9 WCXR.
Our guest tonight in the Bluesroom is Warren Haynes from the Allman Brothers. Very quickly, how did you come to join the Allman Brothers?
Well, originally, I met the guys in about 1980. I was playing with David Allan Coe, who's like a country rock artist. And I was 20 years old in 1980, and we did some shows opening for the Allman Brothers. And that's when we first started jamming together. One time we were doing a record, and Gregg and Dickie came by the studio and hung out, and Dickie and I kind of hit it off, started playing a lot of guitar together. And through the years, we just kind of kindled a guitar relationship. So in the mid-'80s, he started calling me about doing some projects together and stuff, and I did his record, Pattern Disruptive, which is his last solo record. And I was also writing for Gregg's album Just Before the Bullets Fly. So when they decided to reform the Allman Brothers in '89, they asked me to step in as a guitar player, songwriter, and singer. It's kind of just a natural progression, really. I've known them for quite some time.
Now, the last studio album that you guys put out, which I'm looking at right now, I understand you have 6 songs that you haven't recorded yet. You've written or composed a couple of those tunes. Want to tell us about that?
Yeah, there's a song called All Night Train that I wrote with Chuck Lavelle. And Gregg and Alan Woody have written some stuff together. Dickie's written some stuff, and we're working on some more stuff that we haven't quite worked up yet. And then I'm singing a version of the Willie Dixon song, Same Thing, which we redid into an up-tempo song. So there's a lot of stuff that we're working into the set now, and a lot of stuff that we haven't quite worked in yet. We're just trying to play it all live so we can kind of get the kinks out and let it take a natural progression before we go in the studio.
On your last studio album, you did the Robert Johnson thing, Come On Into My Kitchen, acoustically, and this kind of opened up all this unplugged music that's coming out, like Clapton and Rod Stewart just unplugged, but you guys did it first.
Yeah, I don't know if we really take credit for that, but it was just something that felt natural to us. You know, we've been wanting to do it for quite some time. And when they asked us to do the MTV Unplugged originally, we just kind of thought, wow, we better woodshed if we're going to play acoustically, you know. But it worked out great. We rehearsed in Atlanta, Georgia, and got a bunch of acoustic guitars and decided to just try that approach and see what happened. And Kitchen was one of the things that came out of there.
Do you have a favorite Allman Brothers tune that you do on the stage night after night?
There's a lot of them, really. I really love playing in memory of Elizabeth Reed. There are so many. Gambler's Roll, one of the songs that I've written for the band, is a whole lot of fun to play. When we do Don't Want You No More and Not My Cross to Bear, I really enjoy doing that. There's a lot of songs that we don't do very often, so when we do, it's great. I think another one of my favorites would be Dreams, which we did tonight.
Right, and Molly Hatchet also did a version of that, didn't they? Dreams I'll Never Say.
Yeah, I think they copied their version from Buddy Miles, actually. I think Buddy did a version very similar to that. It was an up-tempo kind of funky version.
Gregg, what's ahead for the Allman Brothers?
Well, this year we did it kind of different. The way we're doing it like we used to always do it. We're taking the new songs on tour, and then that gets them, you know, it's like building a house. It has to, like, settle, you know, songs. I mean, when you write new songs and then you go into the studio, about 4 or 5 months down the road, you're listening to it and say, man, we should have done that. We should have done this. But if you get out and play them in front of an audience, it seems to, I don't know if it scares you into doing them right, or it's just playing them live does a lot for them. And then by the time you get through with the tour, you go in the studio and it's just academic. I mean, you just, you know, it's you're not in there learning the damn thing, but you know, while you're recording it. Because after you write those little guys, you got to learn them. You know, you think it'd be part of your blood and bones, but when you cut a song, I heard Sting say the other day on an interview, when you record a song, that's like the first draft, you know. And then years later, I mean, like Whipping Post and all those songs on the first album. Man, if we could record that first album, that would be great. You know, I don't know if we could get away with that or not, but we had like 2 weeks, and that was it, you know, a hotel room, and you got 2 weeks to cut a record. That was in New York at Atlantic Studios. And I mean, that was the first time we'd ever been in the studio together. And Dickie walks in there and says, man, there ain't no windows in here. And just left, you know, because it freaked him out. He'd never been in a studio in his life. So he came back the next day, and it was throw down, bro. Little Walter, boom, boom, out goes the light.
You got the Bluesroom on 105.9 WCXR. Guest tonight, Gregg Allman. How about your movie career? How's that going?
I just got a new thing to read. Just came to me in the mail yesterday, excuse me. And I'm really excited with it. I really loved Rush. I did. It was, I learned a lot of stuff. It was another whole can of worms, man, another facet of the entertainment business. And, yeah, I would love to do some more of it.
Cool. I gave Warren an Earl Hooker CD that just came out. I hope you guys get to listen to it. Yeah. It's just brand new. It looks pretty good. And Anton Fig came down, and he went into the studio in Falls Church and did the Bluesroom with me back in June. He went in and cut Rumble with the guys that are left from Link Ray and the Raymond.
Oh, man, that was a great song.
It was awesome. I spent the whole day there with him, and he did the blues show and split.
Oh, man.
Who were some of your early influences?
Oh, man. Ray Charles. Well, you see, that was it. Floyd Miles took me over to his section of town. You know, it wasn't cool in 1960 for a black man and a white man to be hanging together in Daytona Beach. And he took me over to this combination convenience store, drug store, record store. Hell, you could have bought cattle in the place. And he said, well, this is Jimmy Reed, and this is Howlin' Wolf, and, you know, this is B.B. King, and this is James Brown. And because we were playing Dick Dale and the Deltones type stuff. And, man, that knocked me out. It was called the Jet Blues Special, and it was a big, huge bin in the middle of the room, and they were like $2 a record. So every time I got $2, I was over there, man, copping them records. And Floyd turned me on to Motown and rhythm and blues and all that.
What kind of stuff are you listening to now?
Same stuff. Oh, I listen to some new stuff, man. I've always liked Michael McDonald, and I like Gary Moore, and this new dude, Roy Rogers. That's his real name.
The guest tonight has been Gregg Allman and the Allman Brothers. Gregg, thank you for joining us tonight in the Bluesroom and sharing some of those thoughts.
Thank you very much. It's good to know that there's a good old blues show, man, because the blues, you know, it keeps coming back around. After disco died, blues came back around.
You have an open invitation to come on up and play DJ, play some live music, too.
All right.
Cool.
I'll do it.
Jaimoe, did you have a good time?
No, I had a great time.
That's terrific. You guys really cooked tonight. Next time you get into D.C., maybe you'll fall by CXR?
Sounds great.
Play some music live?
Love to.
Thanks for being in the Bluesroom tonight.
My pleasure.
Butch, did you enjoy yourself tonight?
I had a ball tonight.
Next time you get into D.C., come up to CXR, play some tunes?
I'd love to.
Okay, man.
Where are you?
We're in Alexandria, in Old Town.
Okay. Then we'll go play golf.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Hi, this is Gregg Allman with the Allman Brothers. You listen to Washington's Classic Rock 105.9 WCXR.